Yeah, here you go. It says, if you feel off, go back to nourishing the basics of what makes you you. Like, you get so caught up with what you're doing on a daily basis that you fall away from what makes you you. You don't do the things you love anymore. You fall away from your passions. Like, if you're feeling off, go back to what makes you you. What is poppin', y'all? Caramel Rosay's in the building, and I'm with my girl Fifi, aka Fitria.hoops.
Let's go
on Instagram. So we cutting it up today, and we decided that we're gonna have a conversation about mental health. So I think the beauty in mental health is that we're all so different, and something that works for me may not work for her, and vice versa. So the beauty here is perspective, which is why I didn't want to have this conversation alone. So Patria and I were going to kind of walk through some of the things that we do, like when we're feeling overwhelmed, if we're stressed, like how do we cater to our mental health, what do we do as like a self-care, like how do we cater to that kind of stuff. And also, like, I want y'all to drop, like, what do you do, even if it's just one word, what's something that you do if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're stressed. Drop something that you do, because again, like, beauty's in perspective, and you have no idea, something that you do may be exactly what somebody needs to hear, or exactly what somebody needs to try. So yeah, like, we're gonna get right into it and talk about mental health. I guess we could start with either one of us, but like, if you're feeling stressed with school, overwhelmed, drowning in assignments, she's a master's student.
Bro,
what is something that you do, like, to help de-stress or make sure you're solid mentally?
I feel like overall school is just a whole different level of stress. So I feel like in terms of that, just like knowing that stress is gonna come and trying to let's go like just like managing your time effectively, so you don't, that stress doesn't like hit you as crazy.
You don't get overwhelmed off guard. I like that. Like, understanding that it's going to happen. So like, when the time comes, you're not shocked. Like, you're expecting it. Like, stress is so normal. Like, feeling overwhelmed is normal. There is no way that we can breeze through life. Like, literally. So having that understanding and being aware, like, yo, you know what, it's just gonna hit the fan. Like, it's not gonna be easy. Like, this is gonna be a tough time. That I like that a lot. Like, not being in denial, or just having that self-awareness beforehand in your list.
I have a planner literally every week, every day in the morning when I get up, I plan out my day. So I know what to work on each day too. So like, that stress later on, it won't hit you that you have all these stuff to do that same day. Planning.
Planning's a big one. And like, this one didn't work for me, but I seen that you started doing it. Fifi wakes up at 5 a.m. every day now. I can't do it. I can't do it. But thinking about like your perspective on that, like waking up a few hours earlier than when your day is actually starting, like, you are now giving yourself time to mentally prepare, to have you time. Like she said, like, it's her plan. Like, that's the time that she plans out what she's doing for today. And like, that contributes to you mentally like crazy, because you're giving yourself time. You're giving yourself designated time to walk yourself through the day, to prepare yourself through the day. Some people, they'll wake up, they'll meditate. Some people, they'll work out, they'll do yoga.
Your whole day is productive. Like, you could even take a nap, you'll still won't feel behind, because you got up and got work so much things done, and you're ahead of literally everyone else that hasn't been helping.
But I think that one's big. Whether you're a morning person, you're a night person, you're a middle of the day randomly person, like, designating you time that is just solid for you. The way I do it is I'll set my alarm like half an hour earlier than what I need to get up, and I'll just lay there in bed. I'll just lay there, and my mind is off. And I like it, because I'm always on the go. I always got something going on. So for me to give myself that 20 to 30 minutes where I'm just not thinking about anything, I'm just laying there. Even at night I do it too. I'll just put my phone aside, I'll put social media off, all my notifications off, and I'm just like winding down from the day. But other than that, like, let me think, like, some other popular things people do. I know some people get in the zone by like listening to their favorite artists, you know, tuning into podcasts, stuff like that, going on jogs.
What is it? Reading,
I wish, but reading,
I've gotten into reading. Like I challenged myself this year to just like get into reading, and I feel like it helped so much. Just like I'm training my mind to like concentrate on one thing, just like focus on the book rather than like what's going on around me, right? So like that has helped a lot. And nature too, nature walks, and like just like leave your phone if you have to, fam, so you're not, you know,
not going through your phone. But like just going out. So we went on a walk for like 2 hours today, if you probably even more than that. Just like being outside, like just enjoying the fresh air, enjoying the scenes, like just watching everyone live their life. Like it's just like we seen a man rolling on his little motorcycle. He had a stuffed monkey behind him. We're just like, all right, go ahead then. Like,
you know what you gotta do.
I would say for me, one of the most reliable things that have worked for me, and again, it may not work for everyone, but for me, if I'm feeling overwhelmed or stressed, it's normally channeling back to something I value. So like if I'm feeling overwhelmed, it's because something that I value is like on the line or not working well for me or whatever. So what I like to do is I like to go back to where I learned these values. So like where I grew up, that's where I learned a lot of lessons. That's where I gained a lot of my values. So my old area where I grew up, my old school, like stuff like that. If I'm feeling overwhelmed, I go back to somewhere that feels like home. I go back to somewhere where I learned so much about myself, and I just go by myself. I'll just walk around in my old block, I'll walk around in my old schoolyard, and like it is one of the most refreshing feelings. Like sometimes going back to where feels home, that could be a grandma's neighborhood, that could be a park that you grew up in, you know, like an area that you always ran to as a kid. It's like kind of a good reset. I'm like, yo, I feel like myself again. I feel like I just let myself reset. So that, like, I would say that's a big one for me. Like just going somewhere that feels like home, like clearing your mind where it feels comfortable, where it feels familiar, like getting back in tune with you. And like that doesn't have to be a specific place. That could be playing an instrument, that could be drawing, that could be writing, that could be whatever makes you feel like you again. Like that helps you reset, especially if it's something you haven't done like in a long time.
I love that. That's so cool. I never thought about that, so I might have to
try that. I found something the other day, which was a post that I really liked. Let me see if I can find it. I think I saved it. Yeah, here you go. It says, if you feel off, go back to nourishing the basics of what makes you you, which is so dope. Like it's true. What makes you you? Like what defines you? Like what makes you feel like yourself again? Like sometimes you get so caught up in, like, we're from a busy city, like you get so caught up with what you're doing on a daily basis that you fall away from what makes you you. You don't do the things you love anymore. You fall away from your passions. Like if you're feeling off, go back to what makes you you. Like I think that's huge. Like
I think, like, I guess not physically, I don't go to, like, but I would say, like, I have a journal that literally has like all my New Year's resolutions, just like something that I write down every year that I've like things that I've accomplished, things that I want to accomplish. Just like obviously the whole journey is literally like the whole journal has everything about me that sometimes I forget that exists. So like in terms of that, like looking through that, I like your idea though, just like refreshing. You're actually walking there, like driving or walking there, and like refreshing. So you're not just like
but you do it where in what you have, like maybe some people may have old albums, or, journals, like you said, like things that mentally put you back into that place, which is just again, everyone's different, so like different things will work. I started journaling like about 2 weeks ago. It's something that I haven't been consistent with, but the few times I have written my day out, things that have been bothering me, or just like how my day has been going, it has helped. It's just like I feel refreshed the next day, or like throughout the day. Like I tried writing it like in the evening, just before I go to bed. Just that self time. You're just like literally collecting your thoughts and writing it down, like how my day was. Like I know it's cheesy, like it's the stuff that you do in elementary school, but just like it works, bro. Like you're literally
sitting down and thinking or like writing everything you're feeling down.
Yeah.
So
it's a way of actually physically releasing it. Like you are putting it somewhere outside of you.
Right.
Like that was one that was really big for me growing up. I didn't have much people that I could turn to, like before I had friends, before, you know, like you know what I mean, like I was very to myself. I had a lot of struggle, like with my family, with friends. Like I was a very dolo kid, and like for me, I would bottle things up, but I knew that every month I needed to just break down. So I would keep things to myself because I couldn't release it. I didn't, you know, like this wasn't the time where I found the release through sports yet. Like this was a time where I just kept it within me, and it was just in me. But I knew like every month I'ma just start crying. Like I'ma just let it all out, and then it gives me a reset. Like my tears, literally growing up, I'm like, my tears is a physical release of what's inside of me. So like I feel that heavy, like you're putting it on paper. Some people, they write it, they shred it, they burn it, like they just physically get it out. I think that's major if you're going through something, or if you're feeling overwhelmed. Some people, they go to like gun ranges and throw axes,
or
and
those glass.
They throw glass.
That's what I want to do that. Bro.
Yeah, I want to try one day too, because you're physically releasing something. Like I think that's big.
Yeah, I think also like, I know sometimes, you want to call someone else to like, you know, talk to, but I feel like you writing it down, it kind of like lets out a different side. Because I feel like with that, you're just like, it's just you and your notebook, you know. But like the other one, you feel like, like I don't want to say too much, or like is that person always gonna be there for you to call them when you want to let it out?
And are you reserving yourself because you're talking to someone else? Like when it's a personal versus personal, it's you versus you. And you can be your full self with you. Like you can say whatever the hell you want with you. Like
absolutely.
So I think another big one is like knowing what resources you have. Obviously there's a lot of resources now. Like mental health is a topic that is becoming more and more important, like in institutions, within families, within organizations, understanding where your resources are. Like, you know, I know in the Black community we ain't with the therapists and the counseling, and you know, that's rooted in a lot of our trauma, a lot of our what we think won't be effective. And like I personally, I don't think I'm ever gonna go to a therapist or a counselor, and that's exactly why I need to understand what can I do, what are my other resources if I don't believe in that. Like what can help me. And like, you know, Fifi right now, she has a blog where she's starting to share like very positive affirmations. She's taking us on her mental journey, like stuff like that. And I know for me, that's a place that if I'm not 100, like I can rely on going to her page without her even knowing that I can get positive messages or like motivation, or you know, there's people that have those pages or websites or blogs that maybe you can connect with, or sometimes even YouTube channels where you're like, you know what, I know that they do something that I can relate to, or they share messages that I like if I'm overwhelmed, if I'm feeling stressed, I'm gonna go tune into that, or I'm gonna go check out their page, because I know, even though they may not know, that's somewhere that you can go to like release, or to like get some motivation and positive vibes and stuff like that.
Also, like I feel like this is so underestimated, but like just literally pause on everything. Literally pause. Like if you're not feeling school stuff, pause. Like it's not like literally go, what do you like, go bench watch your favorite show on Netflix. Like literally just don't focus on the stuff that's stressing you. Like leave it alone. Like just pause on everything that's stressing you out
all the time. Literally. It is your life, it's your journey. There is no timeline. It's all you. Like you don't need to worry about what's actually going on. Like you can time out your own life. It's your life, period. Like
think of it as if, well, if your job could replace you in an hour, bro, like why are you stressing about it?
Exactly.
Like so, like fam, like clearly they don't care about you. Like you have to care about yourself more than anyone else, because like they just want the job done. You know what I mean? So like
I would say that's a lot of our advice. So like please drop like your comments on things that what works for you and stuff like that, because again, beauty and perspective. I would say the second part of this, we'll just talk about like, you know, how can we make sure that we're there, or that the people around us know that we got you. Like how can you be that person? Because you know, like this year, unfortunately, so like two people that I've known and grown up with and got to know, They suffered from mental health and they ended up taking their life. And it was something that, man, like after hearing that news, like if you could see like how much people like that person really had, that really cared about them, and like you know, even me, like I'm like, yo, like if only I could have showed that person like, yo, like
there for them.
I'm there, like, you know, like your life is worth it, like you know, like it kind of hurts to see that. And it's like, what can we do as people in each other's lives to make sure the people that you actually love and care about actually know that, like you know, like I feel like that's something that we need to work on as a society. Like how are we making sure that like our people know like we got them?
Yeah, facts. So definitely I agree, like we're in terms of mental health, like we said before, like everyone goes through it. It's just a matter of how do you handle the situation, you know. So in terms of like how do you show other people that you're there for them, like if you're close to your friends, I feel like, you know, you should know what's going on with your friends. And like even if the person is not like, you've been talking to them for like months and they're not saying something, bam, like check in on them.
You never, like, facts, check in on them. There will never be a time where I feel like someone wouldn't appreciate you checking for them. Like even worst comes to worst, they're fine. That's it. Like, but at the end of the day, they know that you cared enough to check for them, even if they weren't expecting it. They know that someone cares about them. Right. Exactly. Another really important part to that is not expecting a response. You know, like a lot of people, they deal with mental health more severely. They need to be more closed and more like to themselves. As a friend, I feel like it's important to not be offended if you're reaching out to someone and they're not answering, they're not ready to hang out, or they're not ready to talk. Like I feel like don't get mad at that, because some people just need to process things on their own. But send your message still, reach out still, but don't be offended or mad if they're not answering, because again, we all deal with it differently, and when they're ready, they'll say something. And again, like even if they don't say something, you have no idea how much of an impact your message probably means. Like they may have needed to hear from someone, even though they can't physically bring themselves to answer you right now. But your message could really make or break. Like it really could have changed something. Like, yo, like I really needed to hear from someone today. I'm so glad someone, like I was on someone's mind today, or whatever, like stuff like that. So I guess, yeah, just I feel like that's probably like the biggest thing there. Just really just communicating that, like making sure your people know that. And and
also, like I guess if someone does actually, like, you know, you're not close friends with this person, all of a sudden out of nowhere 2 years later they reach out, don't shut them down, like hear them out. Like even though it's out of the blue, like literally let's hear them out and see what they have to say. Don't ignore them because you haven't, you know, like you're not cool with this person anymore. And for me, like I really try to make sure that the people I care about, or like the people I come across in life, know that I got them. Like I really try to emphasize that. And like for me, there's people that I haven't talked to in months, in years, like 10 years even, like that if they're going through something, they still message me, they still call me, because that's something that I really try to make a priority. Like, yo, it doesn't matter where, when, it doesn't matter what happened, if we fall out, it doesn't matter. If you're going through it, you can count on me to be there. And again, time and time again, like I do have people reach out to me and message me, even if it's just to talk or to let things out. So if you're that kind of person that, you know, you can be that person for people, or you know, even if it's a handful of people that you really care about, try to let them know as much as you can, like, yo, I got you. It doesn't matter what time it is, like you can always count on me to be there. Like again, it doesn't matter what happens with me. If I fall out with someone, if they called me today, I'm answering. Like to me, like life's too short. Like I'm not gonna hold animosity because something fell off. Like if you need me to be there, I'm there. Like we all go through different battles in life. Like it just doesn't make sense to not be there for someone just because y'all fell off. Like if they're really going through it. Like facts. So I could not agree more with that. Like I feel like that was my case too. Like if I click with you, like there's a reason why we click, you know? So like exactly. So like it's obviously everyone goes their own separate ways, you know, when you reach a certain age, or you know, you meet the person in the class, just like, you know, but like bro, like I'm here, I'm just, that's the energy that I try to give out, you know. So yeah, I think that's pretty much that on that, you know.
Like I said, drop any comments on ways that work for you. Like I said before, you have no idea who may need to hear what you do. You have no idea who thinks they're doing something crazy or like out of this world, and like you doing the same thing could be a self-affirmation, like, yo, you know what, maybe I ain't so crazy after all. So please drop your comments on things that you do. How do you deal with your mental health? What do you do when you're feeling stressed, overwhelmed? How do you take care of your self-care? What do you do in times like that? And yeah, I would say share this, you know, share this piece of information, just because you never know who may need to hear it. Just share, drop your comments, subscribe if you aren't already, and follow Fifi on Instagram. Like I said, she has a blog that, you know, she's always sharing positive messages. So that's a really good place to go if you need some sort of motivation. But yeah, that's really that on that. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Later. Let's go.